Hello, everybody. My name is Lita Abella. Welcome to my show, What's Your Story in the New Normal? I'm an entrepreneur, health and wellness consultant, public speaker, licensed private investigator, and former LAPD lieutenant. And in between all that, I went to law school and obtained my JD. I tell stories that inform, inspire, and influence others. Today, we have two very special guests that are returning back to talk about the real estate market update during COVID, part 2. We're going to be providing tips for sellers this time. So I'm so pleased to introduce my two guests, Silvia Portugal-Singh and Ami Singh. So welcome to the show again. Thank you.
Thank you, Lita, for having us. We're so happy to be back on your show.
Thank you very much, Lita.
So just to refresh our viewers as to who you are, can you each give a little bio on what you do, who you are, and so forth?
Absolutely. I'm Silvia Portugal-Singh, and I am a third-generation real estate broker, investor. We have our own company, Portugal Singh Group, that is under the Berkshire Hathaway umbrella. And we are very passionate about what we do. We love helping our clients and friends sell, buy, invest, build. Ami heads up our construction division. Our company also offers that service if it's needed. So can't wait to share our seller tips with all of you.
My name is Ami Singh. So as Silvia was saying, I bring the construction development background expertise as well as being a real estate broker and investor. So I help facilitate all those types of the business, but primarily focusing also on the development and brokerage.
Awesome. And we're so excited to hear all these tips and tricks for sellers in this market because, a lot of people are afraid to even put their house up for sale during COVID. They feel that this is not the time to buy. And I, for one, can say that this is the time to sell and buy because I hired Silvia and Ami, and I could not believe how pleased I am with the services that were provided to me by them. My home, after 24 hours of being listed, received offers, and we had numerous offers, and my property sold for top dollar. So I'll let them tell you all about that. But right now we're going to get some information for our sellers. So go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lita, for your kind words. And we're going to go through a little of what made that possible, some of it for selling for top dollar. Of course, that's every seller's objective and our objective for our clients. So the very first step, if you're thinking about wanting to sell, even if you're not sure, is to speak with a reputable, experienced realtor and or broker. Of course, we have our information here for you. We would love to meet with you. There's no obligation, but it's important to speak with a licensed professional and make sure that you know what you're getting into. Some people right now are thinking, oh, do I stay? Do I remodel? Maybe I'll refi and fix up. It's so important to speak with a licensed professional to see is it worth it to make that expense, especially in this economy, or do you take advantage of the market and cash out and sell and move on? So we're here to help with either. Of course, we have the services for both, but that's always the very first step. After you do that, you have an initial walkthrough. So someone like us would come through, do an initial walkthrough, take note of any upgrades, any improvements that are recommended. We typically go back, we do our homework, and we prepare a very detailed market analysis that's specific to their home. Any like properties, we go through a marketing proposal, a very detailed approach, and it's always customized to the property because every home is unique. So that would be the fourth step is reviewing what that marketing proposal looks like and pricing strategy. And a lot of people can come in and they have, some great marketing slides that they share with you, but during that meeting, it's so important that you really get to know each other and you find out exactly how do you plan to sell my home? Because once you select who you're going to work with, it becomes kind of like a marriage where you're together and you have to make sure that you choose the right person that can get the job done for you. So we're going to go into a little bit about what that next step is now, the preparation to sell, and in our experience, what works very well. So this isn't everything, but they are some tips that we provide our clients. Yeah. So getting ready to sell your home, seller pro tips. So these are just at a high level, the things that are sort of must-dos. So first things first is clear the clutter. So when someone is living in their home, it's very different than how it looks in person versus how it looks online. And ultimately that's online, the photography, especially during the COVID environment. It's all about the photography, the videography, the virtual walkthroughs. That's how you're going to attract buyers. So while you're living in this space, it may not feel like, if you could see my office, it does look cluttered. But when you're living in it, it feels great and it looks great. But in photos, it's so important to clear out all the small things because it helps the space look larger. Don't keep secrets is another one. So if there's any sort of leaks or any little issues, it's so important to make sure that you disclose that. And a lot of times we recommend kind of addressing those before we go on the market, so there aren't any surprises during inspections.
And as we go along with that, we're now touching on the actual physical built part of it. We also have clients that say, well, should I repair or remodel something? And so part of our service to our clients is we look at, getting the best return on your investment. You don't want to overinvest in your home. We've had clients say, hey, it's summertime, I'm about to put a pool in my house. I'm like, okay, your house is $600,000, a pool, you're going to be at $720,000, but all the homes in your community are selling for $675,000. So we don't recommend you do that because now you've overinvested in your house. So maybe we start smaller and say, hey, you have a great looking house. Maybe we just need to do some light touch up with paint, maybe some new landscaping. And surprisingly, that sometimes go a really long way. So that's always something that we find our clients are never quite sure. Should I spend too much money? Do I do anything? We help guide them on that front. And then also the timing of when do I fix? Is it time to fix this now, or is it something that maybe an owner will take on they don't mind? So depending on the market, depending on the house, depending on the price point and the ability and interest of our clients, we advise them on what to do each step of the way.
Awesome.
So this is a big question mark. I'm just going to move this here if that's okay. This is a big question on a lot of sellers, and a lot of people are wondering about is staging, especially with all of the fun TV shows that everybody loves to watch and $1 Million Listing and all these other things that people are comparing. What is staging? Is it important? What are the different levels? So we wanted to make sure that we touched on this because in the environment that we're in, buyers are very picky. They really, they're very picky as to which properties they're going to go see because of the environment, and they really have higher standards than they ever have, especially during this time. So for example, staging can take many forms. The total, 100% across the board, no matter what the size of the home is, you want to make sure that it's very clean. Very clean. You want to remove as much as you can from surfaces. If you are doing any remodels, you always want to think more on the neutral side. Think of having a blank canvas for the next owner to come in. So what we do is we come in and we assess, and every case is different, but as a general rule of thumb, you want neutral colors on the walls, the floors, very few pieces. The objective is to thin out as much as possible. And if you are going to move forward with staging, we always recommend what we call on trend. So the trends do change typically seasonally. So right now we're feeling a little more of a modern light colors because of summer. So that's stuff that we take care of on the back end, but just at a high level. We always do like a pop of color, even though everything is neutral, a pop of color really draws the eye. And greenery is always a bonus, whether that's a feng shui reason or just having some life in the home is always really nice and presents well.
I think also the point about smart home technology. I mean, that is so many investors, especially buyers these days, especially young millennial buyers who's making a huge buyer pool. They want to see that you're already being conscious of having a smart home technology integrated into your home, whether that's Ring doorbells, whether it's audio and video integration. So we can also help our clients advise on how to integrate that and what level they should integrate in their home before they sell it.
That's great information. I know one of the things that you guys did for me was, I thought my property looked really good already, but the way you added the colors and you took little things here and there, and they were very minor changes, but after we did it and I saw the photographs, I said to them, I don't even want to sell my home anymore. It looks so gorgeous. It looks like a totally different home. So it is totally amazing what you can do when you have people that know how to do staging like you two do.
Thank you, Lita. Thank you. Yeah, your home really popped. It was beautiful from the get-go, and then just a couple of hints of color, and it really looked gorgeous.
Especially even like when we did the Facebook Live open house. Due to COVID, we can't do an open house where 30, 40 people are coming through on Saturday. So when you did your Facebook Live open house for you, oh my gosh, the comments that were coming in, they couldn't say enough great things about the way the house looked.
Yeah.
That's really good.
We almost didn't want to move. We almost did too good of a job, which has happened before, actually. Okay, so more on the staging. We're diving a little deeper. I want to make sure that we get some statistics and have some meat on the bones, and I have the references there at the bottom. We included from National Association of Realtors and different home and design magazines, all very recent within the last couple months. So on average, homes are now selling for 25% more than the listing price when they're staged. That used to be 13%. So staging has become very, very important, and it's just a matter of what levels. So every home should have some sort of staging, not necessarily a full, let's take furniture out. It doesn't have to be a really heavy production, but some sort of reconfiguration to make sure that they're attracting the right buyer pool for that specific property. Also here you'll see 83% of the buyer's agents, which is very important to make sure we're tailoring that to the agents as well, representing the buyers, said that staged home made it easier for their buyer to visualize themselves in the home. So that goes back to the blank canvas. We always recommend, removing any personal photos, memorabilia from the walls. That way it enables a buyer to come in and really see themselves there, as opposed to coming into someone's home and seeing their whole other family there. So it's just part of the process of what really buyers are really looking for. And again, and the cited references, they really touch on the impact of TV shows. Since people are watching these, and now people are watching TV more than ever, or Netflix and the other types of shows, it's really increased what buyers' expectations are.
And just touch on one thing that Silvia was talking about visualizing the space, right? That even translates into, sometimes people have a 4-bedroom house, but they've got 1 or 2 rooms just empty, but they've never done anything with. We can do very creative ways to make it look like you have a queen-size bed in there. Once you hire us, we can tell you more about those tricks of the trade, but essentially allow someone to visualize what a queen-size bed in a room would look like, but that otherwise might look like too small for it. We've had many times people come in, oh my gosh, these rooms are so small. When we show them the actual dimensions and we bring them through a house that has something like a queen or king-size bed, they go, I would have never thought this fit in here. So that's a very important part of also the rearrangement of furniture or addition of furniture.
And definitely helps the rooms look larger, which is always the key. You wanted the space to be as large as possible to really showcase the space. So I included 2 snapshots from a few of those cited articles, the impact of buyers viewing a staged home. So you'll see here the statistics, 83% of buyers said it was much easier for them to visualize the property as their future home when it was staged versus a vacant home or versus a home that is just lived in, which we all do once we buy the home. But 83% are stating that this really impacted me when I was purchasing a home. So these sorts of statistics shouldn't be ignored. We don't recommend not doing, even if it's very, very light staging. Like similar to what we did with your home, you had great furniture. We just added a few little, sparks to maximize the impact. And then another very important thing when you're looking at selling your home is the days on market. You don't want your property to sit on the market. The longer it sits, the more likelihood it is that the price goes down. People start wondering what's wrong with the property. So the impact of time on market with staging is you sell the home faster when it's staged. And that's what this, that's what this form here is showing, the snapshot.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is you even see when you go around a house, oh, why has that house been sitting on the block for months? And then once you see the pictures, or you walk in the house, you go, no wonder why it's cluttered. Or sometimes people inherit furniture from grandma. There's this massive, huge chair that's got flowers on it. It doesn't look good. And it's those little things really matter when people first walk in, or you've got your kids' 6 fish tanks at the front door. Like maybe let's arrange those fish tanks in a more appealing way. So all those little things matter and really make a difference between buyers saying, I have to have this home now, versus, we'll think about it.
Okay, so we did want to include just some examples, and this is a beautiful home, but the difference is night and day. Of course, the photography makes a huge difference. We have top of the line photographers and marketing folks on our team, but just even looking at the space, you see this is night and day, how much more desirable it is with this light staging. And we just completed this for a client of ours, but.
One other thing to point out on here is what's nice is the ability to use someone's existing furniture, as Sylvia was mentioning, and reuse it. So you can notice on the left side of that picture, those 2 blue chairs are integrated back into the right side. We just brought in some other touches. So that's also the thing, but we got rid of the floral granny chairs, right? Those just didn't quite fit this motif. There's a place for it, but in this motif for this specific property, this tied together with the blues.
And that's a really good point Ami brings up. So we repurpose a lot. We move things that are upstairs, down, things in the garage. It's just a matter of piecing it together. And we have someone on our team who he actually went to school for interior design, and he helps us and consults with us depending on what level of staging is required.
Yeah, that is the same home you're looking at.
Same home, and this is almost all their furniture except for the rug and some pillows.
It's gorgeous.
Night and day, isn't it beautiful? Just night and day.
Yeah.
And the living room is one of the most important rooms to stage if we're picking, and then also the master is one of the most important. This is the master bedroom. So we didn't change out any curtains. We didn't change out, we didn't remove the bed. We changed the headboard, but just small little things make a huge impact.
Refocusing attention. Now you see a much bigger opening to each side of the doors and windows, more natural light coming in. Where if you were quickly looking at your phone at a house and you scrolled past this picture on the left, you'd be like, wow, what a dark bedroom. Oh, I've only got 2 ovations of light. You look at the picture on the right, you see this beautiful light, airy windows and sunlight. Now it's much more appealing. You're going to spend a little more time looking at this home.
Right, and that's our job. Our job is to come in and make your home as attractive as possible to net the highest and best offers. So it's all about getting people through the front door, and that's what this does. So that's kind of a lot of information. I feel like we were just throwing a lot out there. Of course, there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes, but these are some of the key things when you're thinking about selling to really consider.
So I'd say to anyone watching this today, if you're wondering right now, should we do a remodel? Should we sell? Is the time right? We're not sure about the safety. What is the market doing? What can we afford? Call us. We love doing this. We eat, live, and breathe real estate, and we don't want to do anything more than serve you and help make informed decisions and give you options. That's all we want in life, is you'll have options, know what we can do next. So thank you very much, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.
And the one thing I was just going to mention too was there's nothing wrong with just giving a professional a call. It's a free call. The worst thing that's going to happen is you've wasted 10, 15 minutes of your time, but the amount of information is invaluable because you don't know what you have on your hands, especially when somebody with fresh eyes comes in onto the property and takes a look, because there's so many times you've been in that property 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you've seen it one particular way. Whereas a professional like yourselves come in and they just totally can see with fresh eyes, fresh colors. Let's move a couple things here and there. And it's amazing, just like we saw in those photos. I mean, the home was beautiful to start with, but it was fabulous with, the, like you said, the right lighting, the right colors, the right furniture, the right pieces and the places. So it doesn't hurt to make that phone call, get a professional's opinion. I highly recommend Silvia and Ami, especially if you're in the San Gabriel Valley and they know this area like the back of their hands. I want to thank you so much for your time and the education that you provide to us. It's very, very informative. So any last words?
No, just thank you very much for what you're doing. And we've been sharing this with friends, and it's been really helpful. They're really referencing your videos and your channel. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. So until next week for our next episode, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends and family. Until then, stay safe and healthy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
The recording. Hit the recording.